The dust is still settling after that painful afternoon on Sunday, when Rangers crashed out of the Scottish Cup against Celtic, and the fallout has been impossible to ignore. The match itself was dramatic enough, but what happened around it has sparked a storm of discussion among supporters and across Scottish football. Scenes of pitch invasions and ugly behavior from sections of the crowd have dominated the headlines, and truthfully, nobody involved in that chaos comes away looking good. Football is supposed to be about passion and rivalry, but there is a line that should never be crossed. When supporters pour onto the pitch and damage a stadium, the focus shifts away from the football, and that is the last thing anyone who loves the game wants to see. Yet beyond all the noise surrounding those incidents, there is a much deeper issue staring Rangers supporters right in the face. The reality is that this defeat feels like more than just another bad result. It feels like the latest chapter in a pattern that has haunted the club in recent seasons. Every time Rangers appear to be building momentum, every time it looks like the team might finally push forward and reassert themselves at the top, something seems to collapse. The opportunity arrives, expectations rise, and then the performance falls short when it matters most. For many fans, Sunday felt like the moment the season effectively slipped away. Optimism had been building, but once again the team found itself in a position where delivering under pressure was essential, and once again it did not happen. That is the most frustrating part for supporters watching from the stands or at home. Talent exists in this squad, but the consistency and mentality required to dominate big occasions simply have not been there often enough. When a club with the size and history of Rangers reaches decisive matches, the expectation is clear. Players must step forward, take responsibility, and seize the moment. Instead, what we have seen too often are missed chances, hesitant decisions, and performances that never quite reach the level required. Football at the highest level is as much about mentality as it is about skill, and this Rangers side continues to struggle with that balance. There were, to be fair, a handful of players who showed signs of fight during the match. Some individuals did their part and tried to drag the team forward. Dujon Sterling, for example, produced a strong performance at right back and looked composed throughout his time on the pitch. In fact, when he eventually went off, the shape and energy of the team noticeably dipped. That moment alone showed how important certain players have become to the system. Young attacking players also injected a bit of spark when they were introduced. Their energy brought a glimpse of what Rangers could become if the squad is rebuilt with the right balance of youth, hunger, and technical ability. But flashes of promise are not enough when you are facing your biggest rivals in a knockout competition. Rangers needed a complete performance, and too many players simply did not deliver. The striker situation once again came under scrutiny. Opportunities came, and in matches of this magnitude you cannot afford to waste them. A top striker at a club like Rangers must be ruthless in front of goal. When the chance appears, the ball has to hit the back of the net. On Sunday, that clinical edge was missing. Two clear openings came and went, and moments later the pressure swung in the opposite direction. That is the brutal reality of football at this level. Small margins decide huge games. Miss a chance, and suddenly the entire momentum of the match shifts. Celtic sensed that moment. The crowd reacted, and Rangers found themselves chasing the game instead of controlling it. All of this leads to a conversation that many supporters are now having about the future of the squad. The coming summer is starting to feel like a turning point for the club. Changes are not just expected, they may be absolutely necessary. When a team repeatedly falls short in decisive matches, it often signals that the group needs fresh energy, new leadership, and perhaps a completely different mentality inside the dressing room. There is also debate surrounding the manager and the direction he wants to take the club. Calls for drastic action always appear after painful defeats, but rebuilding a football team is rarely a quick fix. Managers need time to evaluate players, make adjustments, and build a system that fits their vision. Mistakes will happen along the way, particularly when a coach is still learning the environment and the demands that come with managing a club the size of Rangers. Even so, certain decisions from the match left supporters scratching their heads. Substitutions can completely change the rhythm of a game, and sometimes the choices made on the touchline spark as much discussion as the performances on the pitch. When a defense is tiring and space begins to appear, introducing pace in attack can be the difference between creating chances and watching the game drift away. Those are the fine margins managers must weigh in the heat of the moment. Beyond tactics and substitutions, the broader issue is recruitment. Over the past couple of seasons, Rangers have invested heavily in new players, but the results of that investment have been mixed at best. Some signings have shown promise, yet others have struggled to adapt to the physical and emotional demands of Scottish football. In this league, players cannot simply rely on technical ability. They must be strong, resilient, and ready to battle in every single match, whether it is against the top sides or against teams fighting at the other end of the table. Another complication is the number of loan players involved in the squad. Loan deals can provide short-term solutions, but they rarely build long-term stability. When too many players are only at the club temporarily, it becomes difficult to create a clear identity or a consistent core within the team. Rangers need a group that grows together, develops chemistry, and understands exactly what it means to represent the badge every week. That is why the coming transfer window feels so important. Decisions will have to be made about who stays, who leaves, and which areas require urgent reinforcement. Defense, midfield balance, and attacking efficiency are all under the microscope right now. A strong backbone is essential if Rangers want to close the gap and compete consistently for major trophies again. Supporters are not asking for miracles. What they want is a team that fights until the final whistle, a squad that embraces the pressure instead of shrinking from it. The history of Rangers is built on resilience, belief, and the refusal to accept second best. When the players walk onto the pitch wearing that shirt, they carry the weight of generations of expectation. And that is exactly why this defeat hurts so much. It is not just about losing a cup tie. It is about the feeling that the club was standing on the edge of something bigger, only for the moment to slip away once again. The frustration among fans comes from knowing that the potential is there, but the execution continues to fall short when the spotlight shines brightest. When a club like Rangers falls short in a decisive moment, the conversation inevitably turns toward the individuals on the pitch and whether certain players have reached the end of their road at Ibrox. These are never easy discussions because many of the players in this squad have given important moments to the club over the years. But football moves quickly, and at a club with the expectations of Rangers, sentiment can only go so far before difficult decisions have to be made. One of the biggest debates among supporters right now surrounds the captaincy and the leadership within the squad. Leadership is not just about wearing the armband. It is about setting the tone in the most intense moments. When pressure rises, when the atmosphere becomes hostile and the stakes are at their highest, that is when the captain is expected to step forward and drag the team with him. Unfortunately, too many of those moments this season have passed without that spark appearing. In the recent match, there was a moment that perfectly captured the frustration many supporters feel. An early penalty offered Rangers the chance to seize control of the game and place immediate pressure on their rivals. It was the kind of opportunity that can completely shift the emotional balance of a derby. Instead, the chance slipped away. Missing a penalty can happen to any player, but in high-pressure fixtures those moments carry enormous weight. When the opportunity to lead arrives, Rangers need players who embrace it rather than letting it slip through their hands. That moment seemed to lift the pressure off Celtic and allow them to grow into the contest. In matches between these two sides, momentum can swing wildly, and often the smallest incident becomes the turning point. Rangers needed to make a statement early in the match to show that they were ready to take control of the occasion. Instead, the game slowly drifted away from them, and with each passing minute the confidence of the opposition only grew stronger. The debate about the goalkeeper position has also intensified. There is no question that Rangers have a shot stopper capable of producing impressive saves, but consistency is everything for a goalkeeper at a club competing for major honors. Supporters need to feel secure when the ball is delivered into the box or when long-range shots are fired toward goal. When mistakes begin to appear too frequently, questions inevitably follow about whether the team needs a new presence between the posts. Distribution from the back has also become an important part of the modern game. Goalkeepers are now expected to initiate attacks, play accurate passes under pressure, and help control the tempo. When that element of the game is missing, it can disrupt the entire rhythm of the team. Rangers want to build confidently from defense, but when the ball is repeatedly given away, it invites unnecessary pressure and allows opponents to push forward. Midfield is another area where consistency has been lacking. At times, Rangers have looked capable of controlling possession and dictating the pace of matches. On other occasions, particularly in crucial games, the midfield has seemed to fade away from the contest. When that happens, the team loses its structure and the attacking players become isolated. The best sides dominate the center of the park, winning duels and recycling the ball quickly to keep their opponents pinned back. There have been moments this season when certain midfielders looked ready to take the next step in their development, even attracting interest from clubs in larger leagues. Yet when the biggest matches arrived, those same players struggled to impose themselves. It raises the question of whether the pressure of expectation has started to weigh on them, or whether their focus has been pulled in other directions by speculation about potential transfers. The attacking line presents its own set of problems. Rangers have invested significant resources into strengthening that area of the squad, but the results have not always justified that investment. Goals have arrived in certain matches, yet the clinical edge required in decisive games has been missing too often. Strikers at Rangers are judged on the biggest stages, particularly in derby matches and knockout competitions. When the opportunities appear, they must be taken. Another complication has been the large number of loan players involved in the squad. Loan deals can bring exciting young talent to the club, but they also create uncertainty about the long-term direction of the team. When a player knows he will return to his parent club at the end of the season, the emotional connection with the supporters and the long-term project can feel slightly distant. Rangers need players fully committed to the future of the club, individuals who see their careers being built in Glasgow rather than simply passing through for a season. At the same time, there have been glimpses of players who could become important parts of the squad moving forward. Younger talents have shown flashes of creativity and fearlessness when given the chance to step onto the pitch. Their willingness to run at defenders and take risks has injected energy into the team during certain moments. That kind of hunger is exactly what Rangers supporters want to see more often. The defensive unit will also need careful evaluation. Injuries, inconsistent performances, and tactical adjustments have made it difficult for a stable partnership to develop at the heart of the defense. Successful teams usually rely on center-backs who understand each other instinctively, communicating constantly and organizing the players around them. Without that stability, small mistakes can quickly turn into costly goals. Rangers cannot afford to enter another season with uncertainty in that area of the pitch. Reinforcements may be necessary, not just to add depth, but to bring authority and leadership to the defensive line. A commanding presence at the back can transform the entire team, giving midfielders the confidence to push forward and attackers the freedom to focus on creating chances. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Shockwaves have begun to ripple through Ibrox after extraordinary whispers emerged from inside the club, suggesting Rangers manager Danny RÖHL may have offered his resignation in the immediate aftermath of what insiders describe as a complete humiliation for the side. Sources close to the dressing room claim the German coach was left furious and deeply embarrassed by the manner of the performance, reportedly confronting players and staff before delivering a message that some within the club have labeled shameful in tone and brutally honest in content. While Rangers officials have refused to confirm any formal resignation, talk around the corridors of Ibrox suggests RÖHL made it clear he would not cling to the role if the board believed the club had lost its direction under his leadership. According to those present behind closed doors, the manager's words were cutting. RÖHL is believed to have told figures at the club that Rangers cannot accept nights like this, and that the standards expected at Ibrox had been dragged through the mud. One insider even suggested the manager hinted he would rather walk away than oversee another display he felt dishonored the badge. The alleged message has sparked fierce debate among supporters. Some fans admire the blunt honesty, interpreting it as the reaction of a manager who understands the magnitude of the club. Others fear such a dramatic statement could signal deeper fractures within the squad and coaching staff. Within the boardroom, the mood is described as tense but measured. Rangers executives are thought to be weighing whether RÖHL's outburst was simply the raw emotion of a proud manager stung by humiliation or a genuine indication that his tenure could be approaching a breaking point. For now, nothing official has been announced. Yet in Glasgow, the rumor mill rarely sleeps, and the mere suggestion that a Rangers manager might be ready to step aside has ignited a storm of speculation that shows no sign of calming. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.